Hey everyone, Jody from Bear Dog Off-Road Adventures here. Today I want to show you how I mounted this Auxbeam switch panel in my Ford Bronco. Stay tuned. So we have the Auxbeam unboxed. This is a 6-panel. Now be mindful, this is not the one with Bluetooth or any of the special fancy features. This is just a regular one, for lack of a better term. But anyway, so here's what comes on the box. You have the actual box that you have to mount under the hood. Now it comes with two different mounting brackets, this one and this one. So we're going to look to see, I know others have modified this one, trimming off some of these edges and making the holes bigger to make it work. I'm going to look and see if this one will work as well. See if there's anywhere in the Bronco that we could use it. It comes with some fuse things here. These won't work on the Bronco, I don't believe. That one might, a smaller one. But I know others have talked about that. Here is the power cable for the master switch. So this one is the one that you feed into your fuse box. There's a little screwdriver there if you need it. This is just a flimsy cover to go over the actual box if you need. I'm assuming that's if you were to mount it outside or if you were to have like a Jeep or Bronco with your top off. And of course here is, I guess this is a circuit breaker that mounts directly to the battery and directly to the box itself. Now it does have a cover we'll put back on it. It also comes with these little things here to kind of insulate your connectors, which I thought was pretty cool, as well as your positive and negative cables. Also comes with this piece right here. This is a dual-sided adhesive. If you wanted to mount this like on flat on the dash, you could use that to do that. Here's all the other hardware that comes in the package. There's a tons of hardware in there. Some of it you probably won't need. Some spare fuses, depending on what kind of fuses your vehicle uses. As to whether or not you can use these, you may have to go to the store and get ones that match your vehicle. A ton of small zip ties. This bracket comes with. This is mainly for the beam switch. Now be mindful. We went and we bought some stuff from our friends over at Tackform, which we've used many times for our dash kits. Now this has a bunch of different things you could do with it. This little clamp here gives you a lot more latitude. We can mount it on our dash, anywhere that we have that 20mm ball. So we're probably gonna go back and forth where to mount it here, and we'll show you some of the options we're considering later. Of course, this right here is the cable that goes from this piece to this piece. Now it comes standard with, I believe, just this sheet. We went ahead and ordered the other sheet. It was like 15 more bucks just to have these available, to have more options, because over time we might find ourselves going back and forth, adding new things, and we think that would be great. Something to note here, in the box, you'll see this little sign right here. So when you open up, this thing's full of stuff. You don't see the brackets. Well, as it says here, the mounting brackets are at the bottom. So you have to pull the foam out to get to these. So if you're opening this up and you're like, hey, where's my brackets? You have to pull the foam out to get to them. So this foam is removable. You can take it out. Box is pretty cool looking. But yeah, there's the switch box itself. The box that it comes in. Comes with a lot of stuff, so you can pretty much easily tailor this to your needs. Lots of flexibility, and I think this will work out well for our application, and it might work out well for yours. Well, there is multiple ways you can always do anything. So to mount the Auxbeam, one of the options that we saw some similar brands where they take the faceplate off right here, and they somehow mount this. So we basically took this off, lined it up on here. We used a silver Sharpie to mark our holes. We used a clamp to set down. We used the hole punch with a dead blow hammer to indent it. Used a small drill. Then we used a bigger drill to fit the holes in. And then we should be good to go if we want to mount there. So we're going to try two different ways. We're going to try on the dash, and then we're going to try down the console. So, and there's also some other kits that let you mount stuff like on the near the A-pillar on the dash. So that's something else you might want to consider. But for us, I think it's one of these two. Well, here's our two options that I like. Either I can mount it up here on this dash rail, which you all can see using the Tackform bracket. You just screw it to that bolt. Now this thing right here, I can loosen this and it can slide anywhere on this track. So theoretically, I shouldn't say theoretically, I can scoot this over here, or I can put it way over there. I don't know why I would. I can put it a little bit closer, because like right here's where I'm sitting at as a driver. If I scoot it about an inch or two that way, I'd be more conducive. Now I do have to lean up a little bit to touch this right now. Now the other option is down here. As we just showed you, you're able to drill that plate and you can get this to mount to where it looks like it's factory. Now granted, this is going to be tight here with this piece because it's right up against the handle. I don't even know if you could still run this handle with that on there. I guess you could. It'd be pretty tight. Also, another factor here too. Now, I could reach this more readily without having to lean forward in the car. So if I was hitting bumps in the desert and I really needed to just like reach my finger down and tap something without having to really move my body because I'm driving, this right here might be more conducive. But the only bad thing is, if you got drinks up here, it's going to make it impossible to get to it because it's going to be right, you know, even with this thing pulled all back, I'm going to have to reach over the cup to push a button or reach over a bottle, whatever it is you're drinking out of. That would be the only caveat really of having it down there. Of course, the pro is that it's down here. It's out of sight, out of mind. Probably a little bit more obscure to would-be thieves. But up here, it's right here where you see it. And, of course, then there comes the wiring. On this one, I'd have to wire it. The wire would have to be exposed from here to the windshield. And I'd have to kind of tuck it in, kind of like I have some of the Wolfbox GPS wire. Run it down through here and down through here and then back up through the grommet. Over here, I would simply just run it back in here behind these panels. There's be a little bit of exposure there. Run it behind these panels, then over the footwell into the grommet and then back up. So, you know, you're kind of like it's just more of a preference. If you're not worried about the cup holder situation and you want the wiring to be more professional and want the unit to be in a more discreet place, this might be your best option. But I think we're going to go up here. So just because it's right here where I can easily see it when I'm driving, I don't have to take my eyes off the road as much. I probably will scoot this over this way a little bit more. On that ball, I have to get the Allen head out to loosen that up to slide it. I think that would be the most ideal spot, in my opinion, for this. Let me know what you all think, you know, and in the comments down below, you know, which one would you choose and why? Like I said, there's no really wrong answer. It's more of a matter of preference, but it's just something to consider. All right, after going out and looking at the under the hood area for the Bronco, I've decided just to try the Velcro route. We do have high strength Velcro that we've had laying around. We've used it for other projects, even dating back to the 4Runner. Now, you may be wondering why the weird pattern. Well, one, with the areas that are raised, I tried to avoid those just because it makes the surface uneven. But this patch, this, and this is mainly for the Auxbeam. You know, and we put, of course, the rough side on it. And of course, we cleaned all this off, rubbed it down with some alcohol, got it good and clean. As you can see here, this thing's been through a lot. Now, this, and this, they're all for other things. So like my Diode Dynamics Bluetooth controller previously was mounted about right in here, and it's Velcroed. So it'll be over in here, and we think we might put the circuit breaker over here as well. We hadn't decided for sure on that yet, or I should say I hadn't decided for sure on that yet, because either I'll put it over in here, or I may try to attach it somewhere closer to the battery. So anyway, I want to kind of give you an idea of the way we're going. There may be people that argue against this. I think with the high strength industrial, we're going to let it sit there for a while, put it back on the Bronco, let it get good and warm, let the adhesive really meld in with this cover before we install all this. All right, everything's seated down good. Once we get all this done, we'll be able to knock this monstrosity of wiring out of the way. But for now, we're going to place our thing here. We'll make sure we do it in a way for positioning purposes that is conducive to how we have our wiring, which is right there. All right, so this is where, so that way we still have enough room to put the wiring up through here to plug into here. So it's pretty cool. As you can see, I did strategically place this to where you can get the wires underneath this here.
Now, if I wanted to get the wires in and then push this back just to keep, mass amounts of water from splashing up in there, which I don't know why that would ever happen, maybe if I'm washing it, I could always reposition this back farther that way. We're going to get this nest of wires out of the way here in just a moment, because we're not going to need it anymore because we can just plug it all into here.
All right, so we got everything wired up as far as the Auxbeam switch panel itself. We did it just like everybody else does. The instructions are pretty clear, so I didn't go step by step. Your positive here goes over here to this thing, the circuit breaker, and then it goes over here, and I use a little, I can't remember what you call those, to pull it down on. Same thing with the negative. We put it over here, runs back through there, and then we run the piece, this big wire piece right here. It goes to the control. You ain't able to see it, but we run it down through here, that grommet, and it's down through there. So it goes through the grommet in the interior. We're going to run that cable up here in just a moment. Then, of course, we already had a fuse thing run to airs. There's plenty of videos out there for that. So we just unhooked that because this is what we had our DRLs initially for our Raptor lights, but now we use it for this thing. So it goes into here. I hooked up the Onyx light back up here, but here's the DRL. So the DRL I'm going to put to this. I got to get another cable to go from here to here, and I'll use the Onyx running daylights over here. Now the running daylights for the super relight, I've got it right here on this one, and I'm going to get the number 6 switch on the factory auxiliary switches, because I'm going to hook it up to it. The rock lights are currently hooked up to it. I'm going to move the rock lights over to this thing, and then I want to move the DRLs for the Super E over to the 6 switch, so I can just leave it turned on all the times. That way it comes on and off whenever the truck cranks. So just a couple of things just wanted to run through real quick. Like I said, this up to this point, with other than just the placement of everything, like I said, I use Velcro. I know that may not be what some people want to do, but that's what I'm going to do. And if you don't like it, do something else. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to run the cable up to the controller, and then we should be done, except for just finish wiring our lights up that we're going to use in here. All right, so we got the cable run up through here. We're going to pull this piece down. We're going to pull this piece off, take this off. We got our Torx bit here ready for it. Looks like it is a T30. So we can take this piece off. We're going to hope we got enough cord to where we can run it back up, because ultimately we're going to run our controller right here on the dash. Now they do offer extension cords. If we don't have enough, we'll have to go back and order that. As you can see, we have power on. So we did run the cable back there. We snaked it in that foam behind the GMS wire, over here all the way to the corner, down through the cracks. As you can see here, this is the cord that goes to that. We're going to tuck it back in here. It's back up to the grommet already. We'll probably take these wires back in here, throw that trim piece back on, and then throw the arm, and we're done. It's pretty easy, guys. This is way easier than what you probably think it is. But yeah, it's just a formality of, popping off a few trim pieces, running the wire, get you some these little pieces right here, little trim removable pieces, just to help pry that wire back in. It has to tuck in there pretty tight, so it might take you a minute, but just take your time. All right, folks, we are done out here. I just got to throw the cover on this thing, and then we're done. We have everything wired up. Now I will be adding a whip here soon, so that'll be how I take this cover off, which is pretty easy. You just pull that little lever right there, and it pops right off. And the good thing is that this thing is pretty quick and nifty. It's just a matter of just getting all wired up. We've tested out, make sure it works. Now we're going to throw some stickers on, and then we'll play with it a little bit. We got everything up. We got the ones that we want. Rock lights have been moved from the factory beams, factory aux buttons to this one. The interior we're probably going to use for our wind resistor if we can ever start working again. Low beam is for the Super E Helm 7, and high beam is also for the Super E Helm 7. The DRL is for the Project X light bar, just for it only. And the whip is a whip that we were about to install, so stay tuned for that video. And of course up here, we put our Super E DRLs right here on number 6. So I'm just going to leave that switch on at all times. That way, anytime I crank this thing, it will automatically come on. And if not, I can always turn it off if I don't want it on. Of course, we have our
Project X light bar, the regular lights, then the ditch lights from Oracle, then the horse there, the buck and horse Bronco. That is our chase light for our third brake light kit. And then of course the rear lights are the lights in the rear bumper from Dial Dynamics. So got me all squared away. I can't wait to really tune this. Now you can change the backlight colors. These look a little green, so we'll probably put them to blue. I can't do that one-handed, so I will change that and get to match the interior. You'll be up at UBB if you want to check this out, and we definitely encourage you to come talk to us, ask us questions. Hope you guys enjoy watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and we got more to come. All right, here we're going to show you a little bit of action here, but just want to thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. We bought this directly from Auxbeam. There wasn't any kind of ambassadorship or affiliate code or anything associated with this. It's a really economical, budget-friendly option for a switch panel. We do have the factory switch panel, but unfortunately we just ran out of room on it. But and thank our friends at Tac Form for getting those parts out to us expeditiously. We were able to get everything situated and ready to go. Hang tight, guys. Got more to come.